So, the story is about the following situation. What happens when you buy a used car? And this situation was customer have ordered pre-purchase inspection. So I did arrive, right? Arrived at the sales place. Looked like sensible people, um, and no red flags. All the cars looked sort of clean. Had some luxury cars like Range Rovers, Bentleys. Not anything over the top. Not anything like more than 100,000 pounds, right? So it was a Porsche Macan, right? So I inspected this car. I do inspect lots of Porsches, right? In general, but everything looked legit. Paperwork, very good, nearly main dealer service history. Last service was, or maybe one more, 72 years of the Porsches. Specialist, right? Porsche specialist. So on a paper, the car looked very good, right? So I went to the car. Obviously, it was dusty. They arranged the car. They kept the car for customer for 4 months or 3 weeks or something. I think there was a finance issue, and so I'm looking on the car. The car was blocked in, right? And they wasn't even rushing to move the car away. So the impression I just had is like they don't want me to road test it. And normally you got these sort of signs. It's not like I'm thinking about them, but it just goes through my mind. But then I continue to look at the car. It's very good condition. Bodywork is good. It's 2017. Tires Porsche NO rated. Good disc pads all the way around. Bodywork as well, like very minor, just age-related sort of marks and small scratches. Which are perfectly well acceptable. So I'm going forward, doing diagnostic scans. Yeah, there was a bunch of fault codes, sporadic, kind of typical with Porsches. And I went back to the salesperson. I said, look, once you have a moment, I don't need it at the moment, but when you're ready, if you could repark the car which is on front of that car, and also went through the what's they wrote this policy, so I can some dealers put me on their own policy, right? Like main dealers. Some people it's fine, just use your trade plates and use your insurance. So yeah, just a normal dialogue. We went through as well the common issues on a Porsche, right? The bang to rattle. Yeah, he knows that they get in cars, they send them back, right? So everything sounds legit, It ticks all my boxes, and I'm happy because I'm thinking, yeah, it's a great car. Whoever found the car is gonna be really happy. So then I started the car. Diagnostics went through, as I said before. They said they're gonna move the car. So yeah, I'm happy, and the engine has been running for like what 20 minutes. And whilst I'm doing other stuff before, and then I went to rev it up as it's a turbo, right? And even if it has twin turbo or non-turbo, and just checking under load if it has blue smoke coming back under the load. So as I revved it up, it started rattling from the left side of the bank chair. So I'm thinking, seriously, if they knew there is a problem and they know there is a rattle from bank 2, that means they more likely knew there is a problem. So obviously, I have stopped the inspection because vehicle is not of satisfactory quality and it needs further investigation to pinpoint exactly what it is. So the more likely the repair cost will be in a range between 5 to 10 grand. And as you know, once you will start opening things up, the repair shop will always advise there was something else would need doing, right? Maybe if lucky, there can be repairs done without removing the engine, right? But if it needs removing, that means it will increase the repair costs. You know, so I stopped this inspection, called the customer. I mean, the customer called me back also, did the report. He called me back, explained him the situation, you know. And obviously, guess what? The seller was, because he paid him £1,000 deposit, the customer, and seller was saying, inspector didn't know anything about Porsches, right? You know, this is just absurd. It's like when you go into the MOT station, you know, and MOT tester fails the, let's say, Koenigsegg because of the ball joint, and then the owner will say, oh, he failed the MOT test because he doesn't know anything about Koenigsegg. So now it's like, it's like no brainer, right? If you're a fully qualified technician, it doesn't matter what car it is, right? I'm just in general, right? Because it's just daft, right? Especially if you knew there is a problem, right? And then because you don't want to give £1,000 deposit back to the customer, you're saying like stupidly, technician didn't know anything about the Porsche, right? Or didn't know anything about the cars, right? It's just it's just diabolical, you know. This is what you get sometimes, you know, because they been probably emotionally upset because the customer was dealing with finances or something like that, or there was a delay, and then the customer decides to check the car, which is perfectly they entitled to, because it's it's um, in Consumers Rights Act, right? You have a right to make sure the goods are as described. You have a right to inspect it, you know, and then yeah, all this situation just baffles me. You know, this is this is what you get, you know. So sometimes, um, even on a perfectly legitimate car, even on a surface of perfectly legitimate seller, you can be stonewalled, you know, and they don't want to give you a deposit back. Obviously, of course, the customer is entitled to take them to um, take a legal action. Obviously, the more likely the end of it, they will he will send them the report, and they will change their mind and refund the £1,000 deposit. But as a perspective, there's no need to pay £1,000 deposit. You know, there's 100 to 200 pounds deposit. Make sure it's refundable. You know, even non-refundable, like in this situation, you can pay £5,000 deposit if the vehicle is found not of satisfactory quality. Then the because your deposit is agreement entering purchasing this vehicle, but obviously it has to meet um, the sales standards. You know, it has to meet consumer standards, and we have to be of satisfactory quality. You know, or even for even if it's business sale, it has to be meeting Sales of Goods Act, right? Um, or any other appropriate law which supports the contract dealing. You know, so unfortunately, this is what happens where something on perfectly legit car, legit seller, you know, legit customer's interest, and luckily he did this inspection. It'll save them for hassle, because what's the point of having a warranty, right? Is if you're buying a faulty car, then coming back, then dealing with seller's warranty and not having a car for 2 months. You know, warranties, extended warranties are, especially anything after sort of 6, 7, or 8 years, or even after 5 years, they don't cover really wear and tear items. You know, I'm talking about suspension, um, and it's the extended warranty is sudden mechanical and electrical failure, right? Where there is sort of tapping noise, and there will be an issue. The more likely they will not cover it, right? If you put a claim in, so it's just depends on these insurance companies how they will paraphrase their own wording, you know. So at least the situation help the customer get out from the huge problems um, in a short term, long term, you know, where he will be stonewalled. And even the same customer was like also explained as he shouldn't really go for it because he's been the salesperson's attitudes was poor, and he has these doubts, you know. So on a last note, remember, it's not about a car. Don't be desperate. It's about all the process, right? If the salespeople treat you without respect, they're making you rush. They're making you feel like you need the car more than they need, or you feel they need to sell the car more than you really need the car. You know, look at the balance of probabilities. Don't rush it. You know, it's your own money. It's your own finance. You will overpay for the finance on interest rates. You know, so don't give money to the people who doesn't deserve it. Right? Find the people are willing to wait, because um, sales sometimes not straightforward, because most people use finances, and sometimes they want to use their own banks. That particular seller is not subscribed to the whatever they system, whatever they use, you know, and there can be delays, and obviously impatient salespeople, as the current market is slow, they're getting impatient. So that means if that process about buying a car, if the salespeople at the beginning are not tolerating things, right? And then obviously when, especially, they don't want to refund you the deposit when the car fails the inspection, right? Where it's been found in not of satisfactory quality. So that means one thing: if that car would break down, they would not give a shit about you. Remember that. Hope it helps. You know, just always double check things. Don't rush. It's not a new car. It's just a used car, right? Remember that.